Hi there, students. A merchant. Okay, a merchant is a person who buys and sells things. But there are different types of merchant. You could have a wholesaler as a merchant, somebody who buys things in large quantities and sells them again in large quantities, maybe over long distances. But a merchant could also be somebody who buys wholesale and sells retail. So your local shop, he buys in bulk, he buys 5,000 of these and then he sells them one at a time, and that's how he makes his money. So a merchant, somebody whose occupation is the wholesale purchase and retail sale of goods, but also a commercial trader, somebody who buys bananas in Brazil by the boatload. He fills a merchant ship with them and brings them to London to sell as a load of bananas, 2,000 tons of bananas in England. So a merchant ship, a merchant is somebody who is buying and selling things. They buy and sell in large amounts by trading with other countries, or they buy in fairly large amounts and then sell them for a profit, often in large quantities across long distances. But you could be a wholesaler who sells to a retailer, or it could be the retailer themselves who sells to a consumer. Effectively, a merchant buys and sells. He's a trader. Now, one of the things I think that's difficult with the word merchant is when to use it. Let's see, a coal merchant, definitely, but an antique dealer, not an antique merchant. There are a wine merchant. There are words that go with merchant. A textile merchant, a timber merchant. He was the son of a wine merchant. Okay, so a merchant banker. Look up the Cockney rhyming slang of merchant banker, by the way, an aside. Merchant. A merchant is somebody who buys and sells things. A scrap metal merchant, or a scrap merchant. Merchant ships. This is a merchant town. A knowledgeable wine merchant should be able to advise you. The merchant navy, these are ships that move merchandise. Yeah, a merchant buys and sells merchandise. He traded as a tobacco merchant, but a dealer. Other things are dealers, and as I said, sometimes it's difficult to know. Now, we can also use this word merchant for somebody who likes a particular activity. So he's a real speed merchant, this guy. Somebody who always likes to drive fast. A noise merchant. He's always making a lot of noise. A doom and gloom merchant who's always predicting that things will go badly. Okay, so yeah, he's a rumor merchant. He's always spreading rumors. Okay, so this merchant, somebody who buys and sells commodities for profit. The owner of a retail business, or somebody who is known for a particular type of activity. This player is a real goal merchant. He's always scoring goals for our team. So a merchant, somebody who buys and sells in large quantities, who imports and exports them. A dealer, a trader, a broker, or a person who runs a shop or a store or a business. The family lived on credit from local merchants. Yeah, I always remember Mr. White, who was a potato merchant. He sold Potatoes of all sorts of different types. His shop normally had 30 different types of potatoes. A merchant seaman works in ships carrying goods for trade. There's been a big reduction of the British merchant fleet in recent years. So it's buying or selling, a trader, somebody who is engaged in the retail trade as well. A person who's always involved in something. This is a gossip merchant. Okay, so merchant, the person who's using merchandise. The merchant travelled for days to sell his ware at the marketplace. Local merchants opened their shops during the town festival. Many small businesses rely on online merchants for their supplies. The merchant offered a discount to regular customers. Some merchants are struggling to adapt to the changing retail market. Prizes were given by local merchants. The growth of the merchant classes. He's a timber merchant. A merchant of death, somebody who sells tobacco or drugs or something like that. Okay, so a merchant, somebody who's buying and selling, a retail business, or somebody who buys and sells in bulk, or somebody who's noted for a particular quality, a speed merchant. So let's see, merchant, 5 informality, use anywhere. From Anglo-Norman, marchand, from mercor, in Latin, to trade, to deal, to sell. So, merchant. Bye for now.